Support this podcast via our Patreon and get more writerly goodness. Visit patreon.com/nanocast to join up.
Welcome to NaNoWriMo Every Month. My name is J. Daniel Sawyer. I'm the author of some 20 books, 34 short stories, and numerous articles and other things, and I am your guide on this journey to use NaNoWriMo to level up to professional output levels. Welcome to the Postmortem, Day 1. Since NaNoWriMo Every Month is about how to do a NaNoWriMo every month instead of just doing it one time a year as a special occasion and spending the rest of the year revising and fixing and redrafting the book you've done or doing other books but doing them slowly, it's worth talking about the times you have to say no, the times that you can't write, and how to distinguish those times from times when you're just being lazy or letting fear get the best of you. I'm going to do this by analogy, because I've had a hell of a year. A year ago, I moved from one state to another, which is a seriously complicated and stressful business. But after the move was done, I settled in and I set my writing goals for the year, and I decided I wanted to aim for 3,000 words a day, more or less, with some time budgeted in for days off, because, sometimes you get sick, sometimes there's an emergency, sometimes you just want a day off to recharge. So I decided I'd shove aside 65 days as my budgeted break days, and I'd try to do 2,700 words to 3,000 words every day the rest of the year. And at the end of it, I would basically work through a stack of novels that I've been dying to write forever. And that would be good for everybody. There would be more stories around. I would have my plate clear so I could tackle some new projects that I hadn't had on my desk forever. Everybody wins, right? Well, it would have worked fine. Except that life happened this last year in a way that life has never happened. I had illnesses, deaths, and comas in the family. I had problems with pets that ate up an inordinate amount of time. We had all sorts of interesting relocation-related problems with businesses and clients and scrambling to pay the rent when one major job went away. It was absolutely a wreck, and in the middle of all of it, there was a protracted set of illnesses in the family that went all around the family. So it wasn't just that one person was sick for a while. One person was sick, then another person was sick, then another person was sick. It just did the round robin, and it took everything down to a crawl. On top of that, I took several classes in business and advanced writing craft and other stuff like that, and those all took major chunks out of my time. And I had, once things started to get better, a shocking amount of freelance work that I needed to do in order to pay the rent. And all of that got folded into some incredibly urgent and unexpected road trips going up and down the Pacific coast for various reasons. At the end of it all, instead of using 65 days off, I wound up having 170 days off, which is more than half the year that I didn't write. This means that I got almost exactly half my target word count done, which in turn meant that I got half the books done that I wanted to get done. Which is really annoying. Really, really annoying. Except that it was my most productive year ever. I still got close to 500,000 words done. I still did 6 books, all of which are at various stages in publication. Some have been released already, some are still coming for one reason or another. This next year is probably going to be crazy again, because not only is some of all of that stuff still going on, but there will be more podcasts next year. And there are a couple other projects next year that are looming on the horizon that will be fabulous and remunerative and wonderful, and they will take me away from my writing chair, which will suck. But when things pull you away from the writing chair, even if they pull you away for months, and there was a solid 4 months when I didn't write for more than one day every 2 weeks, the trick to making this work, to writing at a professional pace, to writing at professional quality level, because practice is important to doing this right, is that when life pulls you away, when there are things you can't control, you let it go, and then as soon as you can, you come back to the chair. Coming back to the chair is the hardest part because you're out of the habit and you have to start exercising that muscle again. But sometimes you do have to say no. And the difference between saying no and saying never is that no is something you say because the urgency trumps the discipline for an extraordinary reason. Never is what you end up saying by default if you keep saying no and let the urgent trump the important every day. As long as you come back, you haven't quit. But don't let that be a cover for never coming back. A professional working writer that's making their living off their fiction, that's producing high-quality work that makes readers want to come back again and again, is someone who gets a lot of practice, and they're someone who releases enough stories to stay on the reader's radar. Doing a NaNoWriMo every month is an excellent way to do that. And occasionally taking a month off when you can't is all right. But know the difference between saying no and saying never, and make sure that even in the midst of the worst, darkest periods of life, you find ways to say yes every time you can. I'll see you tomorrow. NaNoWriMo Every Month is written and presented by J. Daniel Sawyer and produced by Artistic Whispers Productions. Visit our website at NaNoWriMoEveryMonth.com and leave a tip in the tip jar to support this podcast. NaNoWriMo Every Month is copyright 2015 by J. Daniel Sawyer and Artistic Whispers Productions and released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license.